Happy Monday! It's me, Jerry. Well, welcome back, garden friends. So today I've got a little tour, like literally little, because the frost got a lot of the things in my garden, which brings up a hot topic. So after we take a look at the garden, I've got a hot tip to kind of remind you about being on the lookout for pests that are going to come into your garden and start to want to attack the plants that may have suffered from some type of damage in your yard or just the change of seasons. And at the end, we're going to chat about what you can plant this month in November. So let's check out the tour and then we'll figure out what we can plant. So here is that okra that, I mean, it's not very even happy with what's left on it because it's getting so chilly, but we're letting it hang out just to get seeds from this one right here. We'll take these off and add them to our bag, but I can barely reach up that high. That's how tall that is. But because the okra is gone, the kale is popping up. I'm about ready to get rid of this right here. It's not gonna do anything, but all this kale over here is happy as well, and there's some other things that I planted. I'll have to look at my list to see what those are. This is not gonna last long either. There's I think a Kohlrabi over there. Now the carrots look semi-decent. My husband ate the green beans. These are just gonna dry on the pod there, and then we'll take those out and I don't know, do nothing with them. But one good thing this week is that almost all the tomatoes started turning red, so that was super fun, because otherwise we had a lot of losses this week because it got so chilly in the overnight. I'm almost of the mind that thinking that my loofah here got way too cold too. So that's what we're going to kind of see today in the garden, is the result of overnight coldness. The temperatures really knocked out everything that's going on over here, and I left it up to show you. Now I could have obviously used some type of sheet to cover this up and protect it, but I know that there's not much more that's going to come out of this plant. It's out of season, and this bed is not going to get really any more good sun until spring. So, and this netting needs to be replaced, so I'm gonna cut this all down this evening and get this bed cleaned up. Even though it's starting to trail over here, you can still see that it's getting damaged from the temperatures, and so it's gonna start bringing bugs in. Same over here with the pumpkin. This all this along the leaves here is damaged from getting too chilly overnight. So that's what's going on over there. A lot of losses, but no worries, because when we look at everything that is in season, goodness gracious, it looks wonderful. Leaves as big as my hand. So all the brassicas are loving life, and it's, you know, makes me want to just go and get, you know, 6 or 7 more buckets and plant even more broccoli and cauliflower. Now this strange thing over here is the pigeon pea from over there. It kept getting blown over in the wind, so I just tucked it down in there so it wouldn't get knocked over. The temporaries are hopefully they'll last through the cold, because they've got plenty of flower, so we're just waiting to see some beans pop out, and hopefully, like I said, they'll stay warmer close to the house. Seems like most of the things that were close to the fence over there are what suffered from the cold. Here is that pepper that we saw last week that was kind of purple. It's turning full on red now, and so that's gonna be hot now. Like I said, this week I'm gonna make my most favorite ranch recipe and clip some of this and go grab some tomatoes and share a salad with you this week. This here we lifted up to weed eat around the bed, and then it got tossed around a lot in the wind. There looks like there might be a couple more Armenians still to come though. Here's one here also, and as we come around the back of the bed, there's some over there. I'll show you in a minute. So same thing over here. All this is kind of summer stuff. It seems to be doing okay with the overnight temperatures, But if it gets to feeling like it's not, then it's just gonna get ripped out. So here's the other ones that are coming through on that Armenian. This is looking beautiful, and I just love the way that this romaine looks. And that's the watermelon over there. So there's gonna be some cleanup done in this bed. The tomato over here has got lots of tomatoes all over it. None of them have turned red yet, but that's okay. And I really am of half of mine to think that this is really about to flower, because those look like flower nodules there to me. But I don't know. At this point, it seems to be doing okay, and that'll conclude our little tour. When I was out here this morning, I kind of noticed, like, I think it was, yeah, it was this right here. See that kind of blackness? So it was like on top of this, and I was curious a while ago what it was, and now I find what's going on, and that's that this is covered in aphids. So aphids, you know, come in lots of different colors. So these are all different stages of aphids on here, and this is something that you have to look out for, because these all kind of got knocked back with some cooler temperatures last week. Going forward for the next week, you know, it's going to warm back up in the evening, so you might think, oh, well, I can keep some of these plants going and give them a chance, because that's what also drew me over here, is I was trying to figure out, you know, this greener stuff, could I separate it? But when I follow this greener stuff, I can see that it's infected. And my husband's not going to like it, but I'm going to rip all of this out now, because that's something that you have to be mindful of, is once your plants become weakened, then they're just an invitation for pests. And so even when I come and look at this pumpkin, you can't see where it's at now, but there's other places where there's aphids on them too. So it's something that you definitely want to be mindful of, is even though you want to stretch out the life on things sometimes, this is time for these crops to be finished. And if I leave them to hang around, then these are going to be invading everything. So you got to make decisions. Now, if this was a different part of the year, I might go into spraying these off and trying to treat them in some other way, but they're done, you know, and I have to accept that and sacrifice all of this for the sake of, you know, everything else I've got going on. So that's a thing to be mindful of, is when it gets weak, it's going to invite pests that are going to come in and prey upon it. So be mindful of that. Okay, All Pepper's dad is going to try out this pepper for us. And let's see, like, if it's got any flavor to it. What do you think?
It's hot. It's real hot.
You ate the whole thing?
Yeah. Good though, very good flavor.
Really?
Hot.
Okay, so I'm back with my Vanna over here, and we're going to talk about what we can plant this month. So on this month's list, it's almost exactly like last month's in November, but there's a couple of exceptions. The only difference is that there's going to be things that you can only do as transplants right now, whereas there's some things that you can still easily plant with seeds. So let's check out the list. So first of all, we've got Swiss chard, beets, turnips, broccoli, kohlrabi, cauliflower, collard greens, Brussels sprouts, endive, mustard, carrots, green onions, radish, bulb onions, peas, bok choy, lettuce, cabbage, celery, and kale. Now, here's the exception. Beets, turnips, collard greens, endive, mustard, carrots, Green onions, radish, bulb onions, peas, and bok choy, and kale, those are the only things that you can plant by seed. Everything else you want to get as a transplant, either seedlings that you've been growing in your house or some transplants that you pick up at the nursery. As a bonus, you can also plant strawberries into the 15th of this month. So that's when you plant strawberries in the low desert of Arizona. Now, the list of herbs is almost just like last month's as well, but I'll run through them real quick for you. So there's anise, borage, caraway, chives, cilantro, dill, fennel, sage, lavender, lemon balm, marjoram, mint. Someone asked in the comments last week if you could still plant mint, and the answer is yes. So oregano, parsley, rosemary, and thyme. So that's it, folks. That's what you can plant this That's it, folks. That's what you can plant this month here in the month of November, my birth month. I'm about to take another journey around the sun. We want to thank you so much for tuning in whenever you get a chance, and hope you have the best day ever, and happy planting to all of you.